What is your position on U.S. thermal coal exports from the plant on the Fraser River?
We attended an all candidates meeting. Well, some of us attended an all candidates meeting that Communities and Coal put on. And we heard from a miner who talked about the impact on his health and his family from thermal coal and his evolution in terms of his thinking and his family's thinking around the whole business of coal. What we have right now in BC, in Delta, or going through Delta, is a bunch of coal that we don't actually benefit very terribly from, and that is actually quite harmful. Once again, I would agree with others who have said this. The science is in on coal, for sure. We, the Liberal Party, as part of our environmental platform, and this also applies to LNG, of course, is committed to eliminating fossil fuel subsidies immediately and getting out of the business of fossil fuels. We don't need coal going through our communities. There's a reason that the U.S. ports... Thank you. There's a reason that the U.S. ports won't ship it, because it's not healthy, and we're sending it to countries that don't have robust environmental assessment processes, as we hope one day to have ourselves. But we can control that. We can control that. So I would say, let's look at the science, but the science is pretty much in. We need to get rid of and get out of the business of thermal coal.
Well, the issue of coal and air quality in Delta is a very serious one. It's certainly one people have come to talk to me about in my constituency office, and I've met people in the community to discuss it. One of the issues is, of course, over whether we're talking about what they call steel cutting coal, steel making coal, and thermal coal coming up from the United States. And that is why there was an environmental process that Fraser Surrey docks had to go through. When they first submitted that, their first assessment, they were told, no, that's not good enough. You've got to go back and you've got to look at water quality, air quality. You've got to look at soil, take soil samples from around the community. They did that, and they have been given the go-ahead by Port Metro to proceed. I have questions about it myself. I think that it's very interesting that the Corporation of Delta did an independent study of their own, looking at soil samples here in North Delta particularly, and trying to determine whether, in fact, what we think might be happening or our concerns are valid. So far, they have not validated them, but I remain concerned, as I think we all do. We all want to live in a clean, safe, and environment, and one in which our children and ourselves are able to breathe and able to enjoy our natural surroundings. So to me, the jury's still out on that, but that is where a collaborative effort of government is so important. The municipal, the provincial, the federal, to keep tabs on this, to understand what's going on, to see what effects there are, and if we have any credible reports of problems, to act on them very promptly.
For the Green Party, the jury is not out on thermal coal. We know that it gets burned and it creates greenhouse gases and it harms the environment. We would end thermal coal exports, and we would work with provinces to ensure the rapid phase out of coal-fired generation plants within Canada itself.
Thermal coal is a dying commodity. The largest coal exporter in the world. The company has lost a tremendous amount of its value over the last few years. Countries all over the world are shifting off of thermal coal. Even China, the place that these exports are going, is shifting off of burning coal for fuel. It's also particularly nasty stuff. It has a tendency to spontaneously combust. It gets the particulates get all over everything and damage not only the environment, but the air quality and our lungs when we breathe it in. I've talked to many residents of North and South Delta who are very concerned about having to sweep coal dust off of their cars every morning. They're worried about what it's getting into in their children's food. It is a product that is no longer necessary. It is something that we could easily do without. The number of jobs that it's creating is beyond minimal, and it is a clear and present danger not only to our community but to our agricultural land, to the bog, to the Fraser River estuary, and to each and every one of us in here. So we like, and a broken record, but that environmental review process that I keep talking about, the thermal coal train shipments would not pass that review process, and they would end under an NDP government.